Welcome to Book Summary Podcast, your gateway to personal transformation. Each episode delivers big ideas from the world's most impactful books on mindset, productivity, and success, all in just a few minutes. Ready to turn knowledge into action? Let's get started.
Do you ever just feel, overwhelmed? Maybe by stress, or that nagging feeling of doubt that just sticks around, or even just feeling drained, like you lack energy for things.
Absolutely. And you look around, maybe see people who seem so happy, so successful, and you think, what's their secret? Is there some trick I'm missing?
It's so common, isn't it? We all face these, internal battles, anxiety humming away or self-doubt whispering in your ear. Sometimes it even feels like it bubbles up physically, right?
Yeet.
Aches, pains, all seemingly tied to how we feel inside.
That's a really relatable way to put it. And the sheer amount of advice out there, wow. It can be like trying to drink from a fire hose. Self-help books, apps, hacks. It's almost as overwhelming as the problems themselves sometimes. Where do you even start?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is precisely why today we're doing a deep dive into a really foundational work, one that's guided millions for, decades now. Norman Vincent Peale's The Power of Positive Thinking. Right, so for you, our listener, we've gathered a stack of your sources, really powerful bits from this groundbreaking book on self-help and spiritual growth. Our mission today, to pull out the key nuggets, the surprising bits, and most importantly, the stuff you can actually use. Actionable insights for your life.
And it's fascinating. This book, published way back in 1952, just took off, sold millions. Peale wrote it, he said, for the plain people of this world. That was his phrase. He wanted to offer a simple, a workable philosophy for living.
Simple and workable. I like that.
Yeah. No, it's true. The book is deeply rooted in Christian principles, the teachings of Jesus Christ. But our focus here, just to be clear, is really on impartially looking at the universal techniques it offers, the psychological stuff, the spiritual practices. We want to explore how these methods, as Peale presents them, help people overcome defeat, find inner peace, and achieve creative, worthwhile things.
That's the heart of it. How the mind, if you cultivate it, if you discipline it, can shift from being this, worry factory into a real power center for living constructively.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about just slapping on a happy face, right? It's about deep inner changes that, according to Peale, lead to real, tangible success on the outside. So what does this actually mean for you day to day? Let's really unpack this.
Okay, so the starting point, the real foundation of Peale's whole philosophy, it leans heavily on something the psychologist William James said. James called it the greatest discovery of my generation.
Which was?
That human beings can actually alter their lives just by altering their attitudes of mind. Think about that. You change your mind, you change your life. It's not just a nice thought. Peale treats it as the cornerstone.
Yeah.
Our inner world isn't fixed, it's malleable.
And that's where it gets really practical, right?
Yeah.
He takes that idea and makes it about our mental images. He puts it so simply, as you think, so shall you be.
Exactly. The mind, he says, tries to develop whatever it pictures. Like whatever you hold in your mind consistently, vividly, your mind just naturally works towards making that real.
So if you're constantly picturing success, picturing yourself getting through challenges, your mind is kind of behind the scenes working to make that happen.
That's the idea. But the flip side is just as powerful and maybe more important to recognize. If you constantly expect failure, if your mental movies are all about things going wrong,
You're basically setting the stage for failure.
you are. Unintentionally, maybe, but powerfully. And Peale insists this isn't magic, it's just how our minds seem to work. It's a fundamental principle.
Which leads right into what he calls the believe and succeed law.
Yeah.
Sounds simple, almost too simple maybe?
It does on the surface. If
Yeah.
you think in negative terms, you will get negative results. If you think in positive terms, you will achieve positive results. But he presents it not as, wishful thinking.
Like some kind of vague affirmation thing.
Right. He calls it a simple fact, which is at the basis of an astonishing law of prosperity and success. It's about those deep-seated thought patterns, the ones that shape what we expect. And those expectations, they drive our actions and ultimately our results. Modern psychology actually talks a lot about this now, how our beliefs impact perception, motivation.
Okay, so give us an example. How does he illustrate this?
Well, he tells this really compelling story about a businessman. This guy had everything going for him, good family, smart opportunities, but he just had this tragic flair for failure, Peale calls it.
Wow, tragic flair for failure. That's quite a phrase.
Isn't it? Everything he touched just seemed to fall apart. But then things changed dramatically when he learned what Peale calls the magic of believing. Specifically, he latched onto a Bible verse. If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth.
Mark 9.23. Okay.
And he didn't just read it, he started living it. He talked about forming a conscious partnership with God, but practically, it meant he developed this disciplined habit of expecting the best, not the worst.
So not passive hoping, but actively shifting his expectations.
Exactly. Active reorientation. And the result? His business affairs, which were a mess, started turning around. Things started working out positively, consistently. It wasn't necessarily some bolt from the blue. It was this fundamental shift in his inner world that changed his actions and outcomes.
That's powerful. Makes you think about your own default expectations.
Totally. And there's another great illustration he uses baseball players. Josh O'Reilly and his team, they were in a slump, couldn't hit anything, even though they were using the same bats.
Okay.
Then a new manager comes in. He doesn't change the bats. The equipment is the same. What does he change?
Their minds.
Exactly. He intentionally works on changing the players' minds. He instills this new expectation. They start expecting hits, visualizing runs, believing they'll win. And guess what? They start winning.
So the hardware was the same, but he upgraded the software, basically.
That's a great way to put it. The collective mindset shifted and performance dramatically improved. It shows it's not just about the external stuff.
It really hits home that it's not always about the circumstances or even just raw talent. It's about that internal thought pattern, as Peale calls it, allowing that creative power of faith to actually work. And that's not just for athletes, right? That applies to anyone trying to perform better, whether it's your job, a creative project, or just, getting through the day. For you listening, what pops out there? How could shifting what you expect change things for you?
It's this idea of thought as a real force, isn't it? Not just fluff. It's about cultivating habits of mind.
Yeah.
If your subconscious is constantly fed images of, I'm not good enough, well, it's probably going to find ways to make that true.
Yeah. That baseball story is interesting, too, because it shows it can work for groups, not just individuals. A team, maybe a family, a workplace.
Right. The collective belief system matters. It highlights that deep link between what's inside and what happens outside.
Okay, so moving from belief in general, Peale really digs into confidence, specifically tackling what he saw as an epidemic, the inferiority complex.
Yeah, he called it a widespread malady, but he was very firm. You need not suffer from this trouble. He saw it holding so many people back, making them miserable.
And he offered a way out.
He did. A practical two-step approach. Step one is figuring out why you feel inadequate. That takes analysis, introspection.
Yeah.
He admits it will take time, like a doctor diagnosing an illness.
Yeah, finding the root cause. What's step two?
Step two is applying a specific formula for immediate strength. Something to help you deal with problems right now, even before you fully understood all the reasons behind the insecurity.
So immediate help alongside the deeper work. Tell me about that formula.
He shares this really moving story of a businessman, 40 years old, just tormented by inferiority feelings, really desperate. Peale gave him something simple. Repeat a Bible verse, Philippians 4.13. I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me.
Okay, a powerful affirmation.
Right. The man didn't even know it, so Peale wrote it on a card, told him, repeat it walking down the street, repeat it lying in bed, repeat it when you wake up, repeat it right before that big business meeting you're dreading.
And did it work?
The man reported back amazed. He said it was incredible. These few words from the Bible did wonders, gave him an immediate shot of strength, of inner conviction, and crucially, that boost opened him up. It made him receptive to getting deeper counseling and building his faith, which then helped clear away the reasons for the inferiority in the first place.
So the formula was like the key that unlocked the door to deeper healing.
Exactly. And the end result wasn't just temporary relief. Peale says the man developed genuine, authentic confidence in his own powers. And then success started flowing towards him. It shows that multi-layered approach, practical steps first, leading to deeper change.
It's not just a mantra then, it's a starting point, a catalyst.
Precisely. And Peale also looked at where these feelings come from. Often he traced them back to childhood or social pressures. He tells another story about an executive considering promoting a young guy, but hesitated because the guy talked too much.
Okay, yeah, that can be annoying.
But when they looked deeper, the reason he talked so much was because he felt inferior. He hadn't gone to the same fancy colleges or joined the same fraternities as his colleagues. So his subconscious came up with this compensatory mechanism.
Showing off what he knew even if it wasn't relevant.
Exactly, trying to boost his own fragile ego. It's a fascinating insight. Sometimes a surface flaw is just covering up a deeper insecurity.
Understanding that definitely shifts your perspective.
Yeah.
Now, how do you actively build that confidence then? What are the techniques?
He stresses dynamic faith through prayer, not just reciting words, but deep prayers with, I love this phrase, suction.
Suction, what does that mean?
It's a term from Roland Hayes' grandfather. It implies this deep emotional pull, like you're actively drawing that connection, that strength towards you, not just asking passively. He also recommends regular Bible reading for mental absorption, letting the ideas soak in.
Okay, active, deep engagement. What else?
Repetitive suggestion. Remember the traveling salesman, the one with the Bible verses on his dashboard?
Yeah, Matthew 17:20, Romans 8:31. Things like, nothing shall be impossible, and if God be for us, who can be against us?
Right. He just kept reading them, absorbing them as he drove. And Peale says this practice literally changed his thought processes. He went from expecting failure on sales calls to expecting success, feeling faith and courage instead of fear.
And his sales improved.
Dramatically. Because, as the salesman himself said, how can one expect to make a sale if he drives up thinking he is not going to make a sale? Your internal state directly impacts your external performance. It's huge in sports psychology now, business coaching.
Your internal narrative dictates your external results. Wow. Okay, so beyond prayer and suggestion, did he give specific rules for confidence?
He did. 10 workable rules. We can't go through all 10, but some real gems in there. Like number 1, formulate and stamp indelibly on your mind a mental picture of yourself as succeeding. Not just daydreaming, but creating a vivid mental blueprint.
Okay, imprint success. What else?
Whenever a negative thought comes to mind, deliberately voice a positive thought to cancel it out. Active mental weeding, you could say.
I like that, mental weeding.
Yeah. And do not build up obstacles in your imagination. Depreciate every so-called obstacle. Challenge the fear. Shrink the obstacle down in your mind. Don't let it paralyze you.
That's a big one. We often make mountains out of molehills mentally.
Totally. And this one's crucial. Do not be awestruck by other people and try to copy them. Nobody can be you as efficiently as you can. Embrace your uniqueness. Don't try to be a cheap copy of someone else.
That's liberating. And the last one you mentioned.
A daily practice. 10 times a day, repeat these dynamic words. If God be for us, who can be against us? Not just saying it, but feeling it, invoking that strength.
So these aren't just ideas, they're skills, things you have to practice.
Exactly. Peale compares it to learning piano. You don't just read the manual. You practice scales, you practice songs consistently. It's about actively re-educating the mind, making it a power-producing plant, transforming it from limitation to capability. It's empowering, but yeah, it takes work.
Intentional cultivation. Okay, let's shift that idea of cultivation towards inner harmony, peace, and energy. How does Peale approach that?
Well, he starts with a simple contrast. You can go to bed with your head full of bad news, worries, an ear full of trouble, he says. Or you can fill your mind with peace, maybe through reading something calming like the Bible before sleep. The key difference, a deliberate change of mental attitude, choosing what occupies your mind.
Choosing your mental diet, essentially.
Precisely.
Oh.
And central to this is mental catharsis. You have to regularly empty the mind, get rid of the fears, hates, insecurities, regrets, guilt, all that junk.
How do you do that?
He uses this great image. Imagine you're on a ship. Take your worries, picture them vividly, and then drop them overboard off the stern. Watch them disappear in the wake. It's a powerful visualization of letting go.
That's a fantastic mental image, just dropping them overboard.
But here's the crucial next step Peale insists on. Once you've emptied the mind, it can't stay empty. It's like a vacuum. You must refill it immediately with creative and healthy thoughts.
Why immediately?
Because otherwise, he warns, the old negative stuff will just sneak in again, like weeds in a garden. The new thoughts put up a sign, occupied. No room for the old anxieties. It's ongoing mental hygiene.
Okay, so empty and refill. What do you refill it with?
He suggests things like creating motion pictures of peace in your mind, visualizing serene scenes, a misty valley, calm water, peaceful shores. He calls this a healing medicine.
Like guided imagery.
Exactly. He also talks about suggestive articulation, the power of simply saying peaceful words aloud. Words like tranquility, serenity, feel the calm they evoke. He even suggested carrying cards with peaceful quotes to drop into your subconscious through repetition, like lubricating your mind with peace.
It sounds very much like mindfulness practices we hear about today.
It really does. And he tackles a big barrier to peace. Guilt, Specifically that curious quirk where someone seeks forgiveness, maybe even feels forgiven by God, but will not forgive himself.
Oh, that internal judge is harsh.
Incredibly. This self-punishment creates constant anxiety, what he calls an inflamed state of nervous reaction. He tells of a man in this state who found incredible quietness and peace, real healing, only after being prayed for in a way that released him from this self-imposed guilt.
And what happened to the man?
He transformed, became healthy, happy, full of driving force. It shows how much energy unresolved guilt, even subconscious guilt, can drain. Releasing it frees up so much power. Self-forgiveness is key.
Which leads right into energy, vitality, overcoming fatigue. Peale saw this as a huge issue.
A massive issue. He cited startling stats back then. Millions taking sleeping pills nightly, billions spent on headache remedies yearly. He saw these as symptoms of a society that was chronically keyed up, stressed out.
And he linked this directly to physical health.
Very directly. He presented the idea, quite radical for its time perhaps, that 50 to 75% of hospital illnesses were psychosomatic difficulties, physical problems caused or worsened by unhealthy mental states, worry, hate, guilt, tension.
So mind-body connection, loud and clear.
Absolutely. He even talks about psychosomatic medicine, but his prescription wasn't a pill. It was compounded of prayer, faith, and dynamic spiritual thinking. He argued that negative emotions like fear and resentment throw our whole system, our finely equated nature, out of balance.
And this imbalance wastes energy.
Huge amounts. He says the energy drainage occasioned by fear and guilt leaves little power left for your actual work, your life. Leads to quick tiring, feeling stale, just generally ineffective. It's a direct link. Emotional state affects physical vitality.
So if negative states drain energy, how do you recharge?
He comes back to drawing on a higher power. Remember Frank Hiller, the baseball pitcher?
Yeah, the one who repeated Isaiah 40.31.
Yeah.
They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength.
Right. Hiller said he consciously passed a powerful, energy-producing thought through my mind. He felt it physically renew him. Peale's idea is that God is the ultimate source of all energy. Connecting with that source allows energy to flow through you, renewing you.
Like plugging in an appliance.
Exactly his analogy, like an electric clock. Plugged in, it runs forever. Unplugged, it stops. We get disconnected from our power source. He also mentioned Thomas Edison's wife describing how Edison could just relax completely, nap, and wake up totally refreshed. She said he was nature's man, in harmony with nature and God. That harmony equals effortless energy restoration.
That sense of harmony, being in sync. Peale contrasted that with modern life, didn't he?
Sharply. The hectic habits of this age, always time to get busy. He compares this frantic pace to God's unhurried tempo, and he warns, if you're going at one rate and God at another, you are tearing yourself apart.
Ouch. That hits home. So what's the antidote?
The daily practice of silence. At least 15 minutes every single day of absolute quiet. The goal, make your mind like still water, not a ripple. Profound inner stillness.
Finding that stillness amidst the noise.
He tells a story about being in the woods, enjoying the healing quietness, and suddenly hearing this jarring, nervous music from someone's radio. A perfect metaphor for how external noise invades our peace. Later, his wife, looking at a calm autumn hillside, quoted Psalm 23. He leadeth me beside the still waters, capturing that essential restorative stillness.
It's about finding that inner quiet place.
He even tells a funny story about a doctor prescribing a weird remedy for a super aggressive businessman. Walk 2 hours daily and spend half a day each week in a cemetery.
The cemetery, seriously.
Seriously. The idea, though maybe tongue-in-cheek, was to force a slower, more reflective pace. To make him confront life's bigger picture, get off the hamster wheel.
Okay, that cemetery prescription is memorable. It really drives home the need to slow down, reflect. So for you listening, this is about seeing how stress impacts you physically and mentally, and how practicing peace through quiet, through thought management, can unlock energy you didn't know you had.
Right. It's proactive energy management. And this focus on practical action carries right over into how Peale talks about solving problems and building relationships. He starts by reframing prayer.
How so?
It's not just a last resort, a desperate help me. It's a proactive, practical tool for problem solving, a continuous line of communication. He even notes that many health experts back then were using prayer in therapy, recognizing its power.
That's interesting. Bridging faith and, say, psychology.
Yeah. He mentions a health club motto. Sounds like code. APR, PBW, PRA.
Okay, what's that stand for?
Affirmative prayers release powers by which positive results are accomplished. The fact it was used in a secular health club, he suggests, shows the universal power of affirmative thought and focused intention, even outside a strictly religious framework.
Affirmative prayers release powers.
Yeah.
Okay, and this connects to his main problem-solving formula.
Yes, his big three-step method. Prayerize, picturize, actualize. This is where it gets really actionable.
All right, break that down. What's prayerize?
It means talking simply, directly with God as a partner. Not formal, rigid prayers, but a constant, natural conversation. You can do it while driving, making decisions, doing chores, making the divine a collaborator in your daily life.
Okay, constant connection. Then picturize.
This is about creating a clear mental image of the desired outcome. See the problem solved vividly, positively. Hold that picture firmly in your mind, but then, and this is key, you surrender it to God's will. It's combining your focused intention with trust, not anxious demanding.
Effort and release. Got it.
Yeah.
And the third step, actualize.
This is where Peale says the magic happens. When that picturing is combined with diligent work and faith, the desired outcome tends to, actualize, become real. He tells a really moving story about a woman whose husband was leaving her.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she desperately wanted him back. So for 90 days straight, she used this formula, prayerized constantly. And she picturized, held this specific image of her husband back home, sitting happily in his usual chair.
90 days of that intense focus. What happened?
He came back, just like she pictured. She told Peale the formula proved a powerful mechanism. It's a strong testament to disciplined mental and spiritual focus, yielding tangible results.
That is intense. And this idea of partnership comes up again.
Absolutely. Another powerful story. A businessman literally about to commit suicide because his business was failing so badly, utter despair. In that moment, he desperately took God in as a partner.
What did that look like?
Despite his skepticism, he just prayed, honestly, rawly. Soon after, he got a hunch, a sudden idea, and he truly believed that was my partner talking.
And the hunch paid off.
Completely turned things around. New ideas flowed. The business stabilized, thrived even. He became a huge advocate for this God partnership method for solving problems the right way. It really reframes intuition, doesn't it, as potentially guided insight.
It does, not just random chance, but maybe something more.
And Peale also brings up mustard seed faith from the Bible. You don't need massive, perfect faith to start. Even faith as a grain of mustard seed, the smallest amount, can achieve amazing things. That's incredibly encouraging.
It lowers the barrier to entry, so to speak.
Exactly. He tells of Maurice and Mary Alice Flint. They were failing badly, filled with fear and resentment. They committed to this mustard seed faith idea and, crucially, to cleaning out that resentment.
What happened with them?
Their lives transformed. They built a successful business making a little product called the Flint Mustard Seed Remembrancer, but more importantly, they became new people filled with love and power. Internal shifts leading to external results, both spiritual and material.
Amazing. So any quick tips for problem solving from him?
He gives 10 suggestions. Key ones include: first, fundamentally, believe that for every problem there is a solution. Start from possibility, not despair. Second, keep calm. Tension blocks the flow of thought power. Peace enables clarity. Third, assemble all the facts impartially, impersonally, and judicially. Get objective before deciding. These are active strategies, not just hopes.
They really empower you, the listener, to see challenges not as dead ends, but as things you can actively work through with the right mindset and approach.
And that same active approach applies to relationships. Peale knew how vital connections are. He quotes William James again. One of the deepest drives of human nature is the desire to be appreciated. Feeling unwanted is miserable.
He illustrates this with that story of the two doctors, right?
Yeah, the retired one wishing his phone would ring, missing being needed, contrasted with the young, busy one wishing his phone would stop ringing. It just shows that universal need to feel valued, connected, significant. It's fundamental.
So how do we foster that connection? How do we become more liked, appreciated?
Well, first he points out a trap. Extreme self-love, where you subtly put others down to feel better about yourself, that just pushes people away. The cure. Simple, but profound. The practice of love for others, shifting focus from self to other.
Easier said than done, sometimes, maybe. How do you practice that?
He gives a great specific technique. A young man wanted to overcome this self-focus, so he started a daily practice. Intentionally prayerize and kindly think about every single person he met. He started small, the elevator operator in his building, someone he'd barely noticed before.
Just sending them a kind thought.
Yeah, intentionally. And the result, he began to see new values in everyone. He realized the world is filled with interesting people. It literally rewired his perception, opened up his world, improved his interactions, just by directing kindness outward.
That's incredible. Changing how you see changes what you see.
Exactly. And it's not just seeing value, it's creating it for others. Peale talks about the sacredness of the ego. Deflating someone, even subtly, wounds them. But building up their ego, making them feel valued, appreciated, that naturally makes them like and appreciate you back.
He mentions Dr. John W. Hoffman doing that for him personally.
Yes, Hoffman told him, "I have always liked you. I believe in you. You have great possibilities." Peale said he loved him for it, and thousands felt the same way. That genuine encouragement creates powerful bonds.
It's a reminder of the impact our words and belief in others can have.
Yeah.
Any specific rules for building these positive relationships?
He offers several practical ones, like learn to remember names, shows respect, be a comfortable person so there is no strain in being with you, cultivate an easygoing, non-judgmental vibe, cultivate the quality of being interesting, be curious about others in the world, and of course, practice building up the ego of other persons, sincere praise, recognition.
These seem like essential life skills, really, not just nice things to do. Perfecting relationships is just as key as professional success for overall well-being.
Absolutely. They transform interactions, enrich your whole life. It's an investment.
Okay, as we start to wrap up, Peale brings these threads together, expecting the best, conquering obstacles. He uses that clean engine analogy.
Yeah. A mind free of negatives will produce positives. Just like a clean engine runs efficiently, a mind cleared of negative clutter delivers constructive power. Fleshing out the negativity is liberating.
And it's not just the big negatives, right? He mentioned the little negatives.
Crucial point. Those seemingly small things we say or think, "I'm afraid I'll be late. I doubt I can do that." They seem minor, but they add up. They condition the mind negatively. The key is to consciously, deliberately replace them with positive affirmations.
Constant vigilance over your thoughts and words. What about big obstacles, though? The ones that feel truly immovable?
He quotes a wise man's response. "I would just remove them, that's all, and then I would forget them." Simple, but profound resolve. He also mentions General Tudor, who was like an iron peg hammered into frozen ground, immovable. He stood up to obstacles until they broke. His attitude was, something has to break, and it won't be you, it will be the obstacle.
Wow, that's some serious mental fortitude, refusing to be moved.
Isn't it? And think of Amos Parrish, the speaker who overcame sickness and a severe stutter. He became hugely successful, inspiring thousands that there is no difficulty you cannot overcome. And he didn't hide his stutter. He addressed it openly, even with humor. Turned a perceived weakness into strength.
A living example of the principles.
Totally. And for those times when you truly feel stuck, like you can't go around, under, or over an obstacle, Peale shares another piece of wisdom. God and I plow right through it. A declaration of partnership and unstoppable will.
God and I plow right through it. I like that. What about that basket idea?
Ah, yes, the "with God all things are possible" basket. A businessman literally wrote his problems down and physically put them in this special basket. It was a ritual to symbolically put the problem in God's hands, releasing the mental weight.
A tangible way to let go. Which brings us to worry. How did Peale define worry?
He called it just a very bad mental habit. And the crucial part, a habit can be broken and replaced by the opposite and stronger habit of faith. It reframes worry as a choice, not an inevitability.
So how do you break it? What techniques did he offer?
Several good ones. Dr. Daniel Polling's simple method, say, I believe, 3 times every morning. Just condition the mind for faith right at the start of the day. Peale tells of a family transformed by this husband, got a job, stopped drinking, mother-in-law stopped complaining about aches. A ripple effect from a simple affirmation.
Amazing. What else?
Howard Chandler Christie, the artist, had a profound secret. Every morning I spend 15 minutes filling my mind full of God. When your mind is full of God, there is no room for worry. It's that principle again. Fill your mind with the positive, and the negative gets crowded out.
Occupy the mental space.
Exactly. And then there was that unique worry ritual. The businessman with the calendar, end of the day, tear off the page, crumple it, toss it in the bin, and pray, the day is over, I'm giving it back to you. A powerful physical act of letting go of the past day's mistakes and anxieties, making space for the new.
These are such practical, almost physical ways to manage mental states.
But Peale ends with a stark warning about fear, quoting Job. For the thing which I greatly feared is come upon me. Fear nurtured tends to manifest.
But he contrasts that
Brilliantly with the positive version. That which I have greatly believed has come upon me. The message is clear. Focus your belief, not your fear. You tend to actualize what you consistently hold in your mind. Choose faith.
Wow, that really brings it all together. So we've taken this deep dive into some incredibly powerful practical techniques from Peale, ways to live more effectively, more joyfully, more successfully, and the key thing to remember.
They work when worked. Peale was adamant. These aren't passive ideas. They require your active, consistent effort.
And the potential is immense. The power to overcome, to transform limiting beliefs, to create the life you want. Peale insists it's inherent within you.
You really can make just about anything of your life if you'll believe it, visualize it, pray for it, and crucially work for it.
But reading or listening isn't enough, is it? What was Peale's final instruction?
Probably the most important bit. Now please go back and persistently practice each technique. Keep at it until you obtain the desired results. It's not a quick fix. It's an ongoing practice, a journey.
A journey of transformation.
So the final thought for you, listening. If our happiness really is shaped by our thoughts and our world changes as we change, what single thought pattern are you going to start shifting today? What change will you make to begin creating the world you truly desire?
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep growing.
Thanks for tuning in to the Book Summary Podcast. If you found value in today's episode, hit that like button, subscribe for more summaries, and share it with someone who's ready to grow. Want deeper insights, exclusive book notes, and reading tips? Join our free newsletter. The link's in the description. And don't forget, if you'd like to read the full book, our affiliate link is right below. It helps support the channel and keeps the summaries coming. Until next time, keep reading, keep growing.